Gyomei versus Akaza, one of the most vexing and irritating topics are debates in the community just due to the fact that you know you have one side where they're saying Gyomei wins, you're having another side where they're saying Akaza wins, and then you have that very annoying group of people that sends the Shinobu scan and says Shinobu says they cannot beat um Upper Moon's 3 out of 1 by themselves, right? If you're watching this and you're one of those and you're that person specifically, fight me. I'm sorry, you gotta fight me because it's like, bro, like, why? Why do you do that? Just debate without sending the scan. Debate on your character scaling, bro. Y'all love using that one statement, but that's besides the point today. All right, chat. All right, chat. So we got Gyomei versus Akaza today, right? So today we're gonna be a little bit more formatted. Although yes, this is not a script. I'm still winging it. I'm gonna do that for my entire career of scaling and doing topics like this, right? But we're gonna have it more formatted this time. We're gonna go through three categories, and we're gonna scale the characters through those categories, right? The three categories I'm gonna go over is AP. My bad. AP, which is attack power. Speed, which is our overall speed and combat speed, reaction speed. Y'all know it. Speed. How fast the character moves, how fast they react, how fast they fight. And the third one will be amps, their amps and abilities and hacks in that overall category, right? So yeah, this is going to be a little interesting topic. Probably one of the ones that I'm gonna enjoy the most. Now, I will say this. I will not be using Mark Gyomei because in my opinion that's not fair. I'm strictly using Base Gyomei for this one, right? Um, Strictly gonna be using Base Gyomei just due to the fact that I just I just don't think I need to go into Mark. I don't think I need to go into Mark. Don't think I need to go into C3 or Gyomei, right? So let's go into this, right? Let's start with Akaza. So let's start off with his AP, right? So in the Infinity Castle meeting, little section in the manga, Infinity Castle meeting, Akaza is able to punch or backhand Doma's Doma's jaw off like completely, which would scale him above Doma's durability at least, because he can just simply backhand his jaw off. Now, if you say Doma was off guard or he didn't know that Akaza was gonna swing on him, being off guard, it doesn't downscale or doesn't nerf your durability at all. Like your durability isn't affected by being off guarded. It's, that's something that everybody should know. Um, yeah, your durability wouldn't be downscaled, nor would it be nerfed if you're off guarded, right? So, that would scale him above Doma's durability, which is pretty good, pretty solid, right? Let's go into Infinity Castle with him and with him versus Gyu versus Akaza. For that fight, he was able to tag them multiple times. Even after Tanjiro blocked his attack, he made his nose bleed, right? He's able to send Gyu flying through multiple walls in Infinity Castle with one kick that he blocked, mind you. And he's able to also break Gyu's sword with Bell Splitter, which is that's pretty high that he was able to break a Demon Slayer sword. But this is also a little weird since the way it's a technique he angled or he switched his strike to come from the side to break his sword. So I mean that's more of it's AP combined with the fact that he used the technique to maneuver his way around that, right, and break his sword. So we got his AP to above Doma's, and he can also easily tear apart Gyu and Tanjiro with his attacks, right? So let's go into his speed, right? His speed. Going into his speed, he's able to outpace Tanjiro on multiple occasions. Okay, Tanjiro can react to him, but he gets overwhelmed by him trying to or he gets overwhelmed by Tanjiro gets overwhelmed by him when they are clashing and they're just fighting in general. Even when Akaza's full attention is on Gyu, sometimes He's also Akaza's also able to outpace Giyu, which is the reason why he was sent flying into it through the Infinity Castle, right? So he's able to outpace Tanjiro on multiple occasions and also outpace Giyu, right? So now then we go into when Giyu gets his mark, and that's when Giyu kind of outpaces Akaza at the start. He's able to cut half of his neck off, almost decapitating him. But right after that, he's then able to match his speed stated by Tanjiro immediately, which could either hint at he was holding back, or something happened when Giyu's battle spirit and he got amped further. But I doubt it had something to do with the battle spirit. I think Akaza was just holding back and he started fully trying once Giyu got his mark. So now he's extremely relative with Mark Giyu's speed before Mark Giyu succumbs to fatigue, right? So I feel like that's all I need to go over speed wise. His combat speed relative with Mark Giyu's. His reaction speed is pretty pretty his reaction speed should be relative with his combat speed, I think. So that would make him and Giyu basically extremely relative in these regards, right? Now let's go into his abilities, right? Let's specifically talk about the compass needle, right? The compass needle, this is verbatim the definition, or not verbatim. This is the definition. Allows Akaza to sense, detect the battle spirit of a being. Perception speed. The time frame it takes for a character to notice an event or reaction. Akaza's compass needle allows him to detect that is in another term, become aware or perceive. Become aware or conscious of something, comes to realize or understand. Akaza can use compass needle to become aware of any opponent happening around by detecting the battle spirit of a person. Right? So basically this is saying that, your will to fight or your intent to kill, your battle spirit, he can sense that. So that's why when Tanjiro tries to off guard him and cut his neck off, he's able to catch the blade without even looking because he can sense that he's there. He can sense his attack and he knows that Tanjiro is coming, right? So in a way, this is precognition when against anybody with battle spirit, and if they have similar stats, then he can react to them easily, right? So due to that, of course, the battle spirit thing also amps Akaza. Um, of course, since there's not a big physical difference between him and Tanjiro's speed and him and Gyu's, his precognition is a lot more better due to the fact that the physical stats are like he's able to react to them is basically what I'm saying. Like the physical stats aren't a big gap between them, so it's easier, right? So now that we got all of Akaza's scaling out the way, or we've scaled him all his stats, let's go into base Gyomei scaling, right? Stay with me, people. Stay with me, right? Okay, so let's go into the beginning of the Infinity Castle arc before they even enter the Infinity Castle arc, right? So Tamayo is able to trap Muzan, right, and hold him still. This is after Ubay. This is right after Ubayashiki's death. And Gyomei is at the scene, and he throws his spiked ball at Muzan, and absolutely tears right through his body. Like the spiked ball goes right through his body, right? So this would upscale Gyomei's AP above Muzan's durability, which I don't think people actually realize how insane that is by itself, right? So just with that alone, right? Just with that alone, I'm actually not even gonna get into his other AP feats because they are more his marked form, right? So that's all I'm gonna leave it there. That alone triumphs Akaza's feat of beating Tanjiro or injuring Tanjiro, brutally injuring Giyu, and upscaling Doma's durability by like punching his jaw off, right? So let's get into speed. Speed wise, he's able to go very relative with base Kokoshibo. Due to the fact he's able to react to his attacks, even jump over him. With his agile movements, he's able to react to Koku and go on the offensive and defense with him, which is pretty impressive due to the fact that this is only him as base, and it's also Kokushibo on his base, right? So what people might be saying is, and it's also something I was thinking about before I started recording, why did he go into his mark if they were relative, right? So, mind you, being relative with somebody doesn't secure you the victory, right? You can still be relative with somebody and they have more of a chance to win. And, like, you can react to them, you can fight them. They'd still have more of a chance to win due to certain circumstances, or, due to Kokushibo being a demon, it's like Gyomei might not have certain things that would help him actually win. So he needs to amp himself in the process. That doesn't um debunk the fact that he was relative with him in base. It just says that Gyomei needed more power if he wants to actually defeat Kokushibo and get stronger than him completely, like blow him out the water. Because at this point, they're just going dead relative, and Gyomei's gonna succumb to fatigue, and then Kokushibo, infinite stamina, it just wouldn't be good for him, right? So, in terms of where his speed is at, it'd be with base Kokushibo, right? So let's go into his abilities and his hacks, in are his amps, right? So we know that Gyomei has all the normal Demon Slayer amps, total concentration breathing, and his stone breathing. And his stone breathing is pretty impressive. It's very destructive, and the way his weapon is wielded, it lets him cause a lot of power, or it lets him do a lot of damage. He also has a very unique ability, or skill that you could say, or amp, that helps him. Unlike other Demon Slayers, the only other Demon Slayers I think that have this are Muichiro, Genya, and Tanjiro, and that is repetitive action. Repetitive action also increases Gyomei's physical stats by chanting a certain word or phrase, or anything of that manner, and it amps his physical stats. Besides that, there's nothing incredibly special what amps or ability he has in his base, right? So let's go over everything we've established, right? So let's go over AP. Overall, Gyomei would have more AP than Akaza. Akaza's biggest AP feat is blowing off Doma's jaw, and Doma's durability would be nowhere near somebody on the level of Muzan. Mind you, this Muzan was just injected with a drug, so it's like the drug wouldn't even have been able to. If you want to be like, oh, bro, this is drug Muzan already, there's no way. She had literally just injected the drug to him. It didn't affect him yet. So this is a normal Prime Muzan, right? That Gyomei just ripped through. So Gyomei's AP would heavily upscale, right? Heavily upscale Akaza's. Now, if we're talking about speed, combat speed, and reaction speed, right? Let me explain this, right? So Akaza's compass needle would be incredible for him, right? Would be incredible if he was similar to Gyomei in stats. He would be able to react to Gyomei consistently and outlast him if he was relative to him in stats, right? In stats. But he's not. And that's because Gyomei is relative with base Kokushibo, and base Kokushibo is able to like perception blitz Doma without even having to like do anything special. He just perception blitz Doma, and Doma, he's stronger than Akaza and faster. So I mean, speed wise, if Gyomei's able to react to him and go on par with his speed, it's like he excels Akaza's physical stats by so much that it wouldn't matter if he has compass needle or not. If his physical stats aren't relative to his opponent, it's like he just get blitzed. He wouldn't be able to. His precognition would be useless. He just get blitzed. It's like even with See Through World, you could have See Through World and the person that you're fighting be so fast that your precognition is useless to that, right? Um, this has even happened with. I'm using this as an example. This happened with Gyomei and Kokushibo. Kokushibo's still able to tag Gyomei even when he has See Through World, and he's able to tag Muichiro even when he has See Through World. Muichiro gains See Through World, but he still gets tagged due to the fact that there's still a physical stat difference. Right? So going into that, but his abilities, yeah, you got the compass needle, all his other techniques. I just don't personally think that they would give him a edge over Gyomei due to the fact that Gyomei just has like insane physical stats, and he can just blitz Akaza or rip his body to shreds with his attacks. Um, Literally rip his upper half with his spike ball, like literally tear him apart. Um, Now, mind you, though, Akaza can regrow his head, but I do think even with that, I do think Yomei has enough stamina to even outlast Akaza, or like he can hold him at bay, just continue to destroy his body or beat him and just outscale him in general, right? But even with that, um, even without Mark, theoretically speaking, this is just a theory. The way Gyomei makes his blade red is he clashes his flail and his spike ball into each other, right? So technically speaking, he wouldn't need any um like gripping strength for this. He would just need to throw them together. Now, the reason he doesn't do this in his before in his base because he's not aware of the red blade or any of that stuff, right? But in theory, technically speaking, he could make his blade go red, which would neg Akaza's head regeneration. But that's just a theory. That's still going into the fact if he would even know about it. But I just think Gyomei would outscale in general, and that's really all I have to say about the topic. Again, if you are one of these people that uses that Shinobu statement, please get some help. Register yourself into a clinic. I don't know. You need help. But that's all I have to say. I appreciate everybody's time. Appreciate the support on the last vid. I'm gonna keep grinding, and I'll see y'all next time. Appreciate it.